I'm just going to talk you through some of the basics of 2D design. First thing to note is see these dots on this page here. These dots are the grid, and the default setting here is that these dots are 10 millimeters apart. Okay, we could change that if we wanted to, but for this one we're going to keep them as 10 millimeters apart. Right, so what do? We can go, if I want to do some basic shapes, we've got some icons down here. So I'm going to start by doing a basic square. So I'm going to click on one that says shapes. If I wanted to, I can hold it down and see I've got a choice of shapes, and I can move it along, and I can actually change, like it says, draw a polygon in a given center and vertex. I can pick some sides. I can pick one of these if I wanted to, but I'm just going to stick with the first one. Draw a horizontal rectangle. Then over onto this side, I've got a thing here called gridlock, and I'm going to click on gridlock. That means I can only move the cursor on the dots. And because they're 10 millimeters apart, I know that my rectangle is going to be a size divisible by 10. Yeah, so it's going to be quite easy to use. Then down the bottom here, I've got this thing called absolute dimensions. This is where it measures it from a set point here. It tells me how far away I am from that point. But more useful for me is this one here, relevant dimensions. Okay, this is relative dimensions. So now when I click up here and I start dragging and make my shape, I can see down this bit how the numbers change. So I want this to be 100 by 100, so I can move it, and that's 100 by 100. Okay, and then I can click off the mouse. There's my rectangle, my square, 100 by 100. If I wanted to, I could round these corners, but before I do anything else, I go back to the other side of the screen over here, and I get rid of this thing here, gridlock. I click off of that. Moving back over here, second icon down, if I hold it down, I get a big choice. I want the very end one there, which is draw a fillet or arc between two lines. So I click on that, and I can put a dimension in here. I'm going to put 8. Okay, I could leave it at 10. I'm going to say 8 millimeters. So my radius of my curves will be 8. Then move the mouse to a corner. I click on one line, it goes pink. I move the mouse to a line adjacent to it, and I click on that, and in between the two, the curve will appear. One and the other, so I can go around doing all of these, and then I've got the curves of my square. My square's now got curves. This is a good thing, makes it less chance of being sharp if I was to do it out of acrylic, if I was to laser cut this, and also it's overall less chance of it breaking as well if they're curves. Right, so that's my basic shape. What I want to do in here, I'm actually going to laser cut a shape out of here. Okay, a single shape. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to Google search in the silhouettes. I'm going to search for, in the silhouette, I'm going to search for a silhouette of a silhouette of a tree. There we go. Let's do a tree. Silhouette of a tree. Could be anything. Okay, I've chosen tree. There we go. Lots of trees. Get images. Now I'm going to laser cut this down, and I'm going to pour pewter inside. Now I know the pewter won't go down these really thin lines, so that's no good to me. So I'm looking for a tree which is quite thick branches, but I don't want a big basic thing. I can't use something like this because if I'm going to pewter cast it, these will all be different pieces. That won't work. They've got to join together. So I'm going to find myself a tree that I like. Do you know? And I go down, and when I can find one I'm happy with. So maybe I'm happy with. Maybe I'm happy with. Let's have a look. What's making me happy here in terms of tree? There, I'm actually going to go for something. I'm going to go for that one. There we go. That one there. Because I think the pewter will flow through, and I think that's going to work for me. So I right click it, and I say copy image. I then go back to 2D design, right click, and I say paste it, paste. I can move it, if I move the mouse to the center there, I get this across, I can drag it up. There we go. Now at the moment that's not going to work for me because it's got all this background and stuff, and I just want this main shape here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the object, and I'm going to, up here I've got bitmaps, I click on bitmaps, and I click on vectorize, then I click back on the object, and I'm saying monochrome, I don't want all those other ones. That gets rid of all the background. There's a sliding bar just here. This depends how much detail I get. So if I do it down here, okay, it's sliding over here. Now some of you, because it starts to show up all these squares, I don't want that obviously. But I want it to be far enough along that way to make my line stick. So something like there. I can then say OK. OK again, because that default is to the right. There's my design. Might take a little while to go on your design, vectorize. To know how complicated it is, I can then click on this select arrow, click back onto my object, and I can move it. If I hold down Shift first, I have to press Shift on the keyboard first, then take the mouse to the corner. I can drag it up and it stays proportionally. If I press Shift after I grab the corner, it won't stay in proportion. So it's in proportion, I drag it in there and put it in the centre of my rectangle. Okay, so that is my basic thing. I'm now going to zoom in a little bit, and if I zoom in, I get to see this. And what I'm going to do, I don't want this to be filled, I want this to laser cut. So what I need to do, the laser cutter will get confused with all this black. Okay, it only wants lines, not solid fills. What I can do, I can click on the tree. Up here it says fill, I can click fill. I can say no fill, and apply, and OK, and now it's just the lines, and I know that will cut it all out. Okay. Next thing to do though, if I was going to use this for pewter casting, I'd want to make something similar shape to this with a hole for the pewter to pour in. I'm going to do that now. Highlight the whole thing. Down here I've got these two squares. Okay, if I mouse over that says copy, I click that copy. Now I move the mouse to the centre. I can drag that away. So that is now a perfect copy of that one. Now let's think about this. Pewter is going to pour through a circle. So I click the circle tool. Take the circle over here somewhere. And imagine I'm going to pour the pewter in the centre. There's the pewter, going to get poured in the centre. It doesn't matter if I overlap the sides a little bit, that's okay. Now if we pour pewter into a mould, it's got air, the air's got to go somewhere. At the moment there's nowhere for the air to go, so now I go circles, and I'm going to put a few little circles over here. And what these are for, these are risers, the air will go up in these circles here, okay? If I don't put these, there's more chance of the air getting trapped. I don't want to go overboard with these, but I know it's not going to work if the air gets trapped in there. So it's worth putting a few of those. There could obviously be a problem with this design. If I'm pewter casting this design, big problem we're going to have, it's quite thin. The pewter might not run down here. Okay, that is always something to be aware of if you're pewter casting. If the pewter starts running down here, gets too cold and dries, it won't join up. Okay, so that is something to be aware of. So it's not the best choice, it might work. I think I can make this one work, but as a rule, I would pick thicker lines than this. Anyway, there we go. So I've got a filler, my risers, and now go back to the select tool, click on that tree shape, the original one, delete it. There we go, these two pieces here. I can then laser cut them. I can put this piece on top of this piece when they're laser cut, and they're two physical bits of wood. I pour the pewter in here, it fills up the mould, and the air comes out of these holes as it fills it up. That's the plan, which should work. Okay, once you've got that, you can then go File, Save As, and it will save it as a DTD file, which is absolutely fine. That's the right type of file to save it to at the moment. That allows us to change it. If we were saving it directly from a laser cutter, we might change that to, we might actually have to export it. So we might save that as something. So I might save that as, let's call it Inlay Coaster. So I save it. And what I might now need to do is to go File, Export. So if I was happy, I could then export it and say export it as a DXF. Most laser cutters would use a DXF type of file. And then we export it as a DXF. It can then attach to laser cutter and it can be laser cut. Okay, so save it and then export as a DXF. Right. And that's how to do our simple 2D design for the Pewter casting coaster.